This week I returned to a brand which was actually the first brand I ever encountered in my ukulele journey nearly 20 years ago. Keep watching. Yeah, welcome back. It's GotAUkulele review day. As ever, every week, this is the summary video review to the full written review, which you'll find on a link below this video, and a lot more information on the website too. And also some links down there as to how you can donate to help keep GotAUkulele going, because I don't get paid by the brands or the stores to do these. They would just be adverts, not independent reviews. So my eternal thanks to the people like those named at the bottom for helping keep this site going and allowing me to get stuff like this. You can also help me out by subscribing to the YouTube channel. You know what to do. Okay, yeah, this brand, long before GotAUkulele existed, the first ukulele I ever picked up was from this brand. And it was horrible, absolutely atrocious. Frets were sat on an angle, the bridge was in the wrong place, the body seams were coming apart. I felt so stupid and embarrassed having made that initial mistake. It went in the bin, I bought a Magic Fluke, and I never looked back. And that's how GotAUkulele started, because I then started writing guides as to how people should avoid the mistake I made with that first very cheap, awful instrument. Just because it was awful doesn't mean that I've completely written this brand off, and I keep going back to them and having a look at other offerings to see whether they've improved. And whilst none of the things I've looked at have been anywhere near as bad as that first instrument that I bought, they've always done pretty average, poorly, not great. This one's caught my eye, and that's the brand Mahalo, and this is in the Hano series of sopranos, tenors and concerts. This is the Hano concert, and at first glance it's quite the looker, really, if you like coloured instruments, and a far cry from those thick painted brightly coloured instruments that they made a name for themselves with. But let's just get into it and look a little bit more closely. Naturally, it's all laminate. This is laminate Sengon wood, which is an Indonesian hardwood. It's a new wood to me, and I'm glad they've put this stain on to detract from the grain, because actually when you get up close to it, the grain of Sengon is not particularly attractive. It's quite ugly, really. Very, very basic looking. But we'll come on to a bit more about that finish in a moment. The bridge is rosewood, they specified. Don't know what those wings are for on the side, no need for those. And it's a slot style, nice and easy string changes. It's also very tidy. If it is rosewood, it was obviously a very pale rosewood, because it looks like it's been almost painted black. There we are, okay. And fitted with a new bone compensated top saddle. That's a step up from plastic, from Mahalo, okay. The finish is this translucent colour, as I say, also available in some other colours, and then finished over with a gloss. And it's not actually been done very well. The more you look at it, the more you find little chips and smears and bits that haven't really been done properly, and polish that doesn't look like it's been polished out properly. See there at the end of the fingerboard, or polished too hard. It's all quite scruffy, actually. Nice from a distance, get up close to it, you start, okay. The only decoration is that sound hole rosette in gold, which is very, very basic. Inside, dead scruffy. Very basic braces, unnotched linings, glue seepage literally everywhere, and bits of wood shavings as well. Not nice in there at all. The neck, another new wood for me. Jabon, Indonesian hardwood. Joints in the normal places, finished also in the same stain and gloss, and again lots of flaws in the finishing. And whilst it tapers down to a very average 35mm at the nut, 27 G2A, it's fairly squashed on the profile, which helps. So not a broom handle. The fingerboard, they say, is rosewood, same comment as with the bridge. It looks in pretty decent condition, but again, when you get a little bit closer to it, there's lots of bits of polish areas that haven't been buffed out properly. You can see that better on the photographs on the website. So a bit scruffy. 16 frets joined at the 12th, and despite being edge bound, they're sharp. You edge bind your fingerboard and you've still got sharp fret ends. Come on. Position dots face out at 5, 7, 10 and 12, and you also get some side dots. Up to the nut, which is set too high. The action on this is appalling. And they didn't go with new bone, they've gone with plastic. Don't know why. The ubiquitous three-pointed crown headstock Mahalo always use. I've always said I don't like the Mahalo logo. I think it looks quite childish, screen printed on in gold. Is it not quite straight? Is that me? Don't know. No, it's not quite straight. The tuners are Mahalo branded open gears, which have mechanisms which look pretty shoddy actually. And something about Mahalo instruments, they always put these shaped buttons on, which I think are horrible. Never like them. Comes with a set of Ukulele strings, comes with dust cover, padded, not padded at all, just a dust cover bag. And street price, about £45, so not a lot of money at all. Really not a lot of money, but in a very, very congested price point. So let's see how it goes. As I say, it's a far cry from some of those brightly coloured Mahalo instruments, and the translucent paint from a distance I think looks more attractive, but just looks scruffy when you get up close to it. But a far cry from those. It's really, really light. I don't know, that's the Indonesian woods they've used. 425 grams for a concert, feels light as a feather. Balances really nicely too. The sound, and this is where these tuners, some of the worst geared tuners I think I've ever used. I mean, so jumpy. And I'm doing this, as I say, every time with a strobe tuner, because people, when they hear intonation issues, will write a comment under the video saying, you could have tuned it. That's what I'm doing, I'm tuning it. If you hear odd notes, it's because the intonation, the setup is wrong. Because this is a expensive Peterson strobe tuner, and those open notes are all in. Volume. Alright, not brilliant, not out the park. Sustain. Same really, both average, but that tone is very laminate. That's the intonation, I'm sure. I'm just going to check. Now, to be fair, the E string has gone out a bit, but no, the intonation's off. Sounds very flat and very kind of one-dimensional. Not a lot to it. Let's pick it. That's in. That E string just keeps going. Okay, right. It needs a setup. That accounts for the sound, but there's still not a lot of volume. There's still not a lot of sustain. It's passable, I guess. And with a setup, maybe certainly better than some of those really entry-level Mahalos. Certainly better than that first one I bought. And from a distance, as I say, the looks aren't too bad, but it's all kind of, when you get in closer and when you play it, it's just all pretty uninspiring really. And there's so many instruments about at this price point. I'd get an octopus concert, which I looked at, or I'd get a bumblebee concert, both about the same sort of price as this, possibly even a bit cheaper, but infinitely nicer instruments. This is just all, what is it with Mahalo? Do they ever get one that's really decent? Has anyone ever played a really decent Mahalo? I haven't. The Mahalo Hano series concert in this translucent blue, about £45 on the street. No, we move on to yet another Mahalo that doesn't set the world on fire, for me at least. You may think differently, but there we are. Thanks very much for watching. That was enjoyable. This wasn't going to be the review this weekend. We've had to switch around because of a stock problem with the one that was going to get reviewed, so I had to squeeze this one in. But thanks for your support, your ongoing support. It means an awful lot. Have a great week ahead. Look after each other. Take care. Stay out of trouble. We'll see you next week. Bye.